Sometimes the only way to win the game is to not play at all. The Cleveland Cavaliers opted not to make any moves at this year's NBA trade deadline, clinging tight to the assets that have made them the second best team in the Eastern Conference. And while you should always be looking to improve, I don't know if any of the players who were moved today would have really played ahead of any of the current Cavs rotational pieces. The emergence of Sam Merrill, Isaac Okoro, and Dean Wade as legit contributors has been all the Cavaliers need to pad their depth. There are only a few available players who could have changed that, ranging from Gordon Hayward and Buddy Hield, but I don't think anyone should be upset that the Cavs chose to stick with what has been working for them. This Cavs team has formed a strong identity on both ends of the floor, and is working to integrate both Mobley and Garland into their new style. A trade could have easily thrown a wrench into this process and made things unnecessarily difficult, and most of all, it's important to remember that the Cavs can always reevaluate things and make all of the same moves in the summer. Let's not forget, just about every player traded today is in trade rumors every single year. And if you look at Cleveland's approach to last season's deadline, they stayed put and managed to retool their roster in the summer when more options became available. So I'd say that should be their plan this year as well. Wade and Okoro have been elite point of attack defenders while both of them are shooting a respectable clip from deep. Wade in particular is connecting on a career high 40% on nearly 2 makes per game, and Okoro is really thriving in Cleveland's free-flowing offense, attacking closeouts and putting pressure on the rim. Then there's Merrill, who is one of the best three-point shooters in the entire NBA, making just $2 million a year. I can see the argument for trading Caris LeVert, but LeVert is a versatile defender who plays an important role as the secondary ball handler next to Garland or Mitchell. You're going to need someone like LeVert in the playoffs, and you can close games with him under the right circumstances. That's not something that can be said for many of the players traded today. So who actually won the NBA trade deadline this year? Unfortunately, I'd have to go with the New York Knicks. Bogdanovich isn't going to move the needle all that much, but him and Burks are quality reserves to have in your back pocket. The Knicks are just a well-crafted team that is going to be a nuisance to anyone in the playoffs, but I do think Bogdanovich is going to be vulnerable on the defensive end of the floor, so we will see how much of a role he can truly play once teams start to target him in the postseason. I choose OKC, Milwaukee, and Philly as winners as well. I think they each made some decent moves to pad their depth, with the Bucks adding a perimeter defender in Patrick Beverley, and the 76ers adding Buddy Hield, a motion shooter who gives them a new layer to their offense. As for the Thunder, Gordon Hayward fits perfectly into their flow as another wing who can pass, dribble, and shoot, something the Thunder have a lot of. The losers of the trade deadline include the Detroit Pistons because, well, losing is what they do, and KOC takes a big loss as well, with Killian Hayes being outright waived just 4 years after being at the top of his NBA draft big board ahead of Zion Williamson and Ja Morant. Truly a tough scene. The Lakers chose not to make any moves this year because they are waiting for the summer, and everyone knows you should remain patient with the oldest player in the NBA as your cornerstone. I mean, LeBron is only 39 years old, so there's no rush for them to build a contender while he's still developing and entering his prime. This is obviously a joke, and the Lakers also join my list of losers. To round this out and bring the discussion back to the Cavs, there's 2 players I'd like to see them target on the buyout market. First is Marcus Morris, a veteran forward who is shooting 40% from deep this season and can be trusted to stay on the floor in the playoffs as opposed to both Wade or Niang. As much as I believe in Wade, I'd like to have some insurance in case he loses confidence at some point in the next few months. This is something we've seen before, and I would hate for it to happen again when the Cavs need him most. Morris is a weathered playoff performer who can provide some extra assistance. The other option is Daniel House Jr., who is just an athletic 6'7" wing who can defend multiple positions, and I don't think you can have enough of those in the NBA. I'd be happy to give the minimum to either of those guys, and I think it would be a low-risk, moderate-reward signing. But all in all, the Cavs have doubled down on this core, and the only thing left for them to do is keep winning basketball games.